Brandon, can you see this is being recorded? Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you let? Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. So if you can't hear me, just stop us if you can't hear. Okay. So welcome everybody to today's career development session 1 in Tamale, and we're so excited that you are here. I know that there are challenges with internet, so please be patient. If we could, we would be there with you in person, and it's very, very sad that we're not, but one day we hopefully will meet you. So my name is Dr. Patricia Perez. I am a professor in international psychology at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. And I'm with my co-presenter, who is Brandon C. Kerr, who is co-presenting with me, and he is a doctoral student in the International Psychology Department with a concentration on trauma. So we're really, really excited that we're able to provide you this program today. So were you able to hear all of that I just said?
Yeah, I was.
Good. Okay. Okay, so this is what we hope to cover today, and we hope that you ask lots of questions and that you work together. Again, this is an overview, which means it's very broad. Okay, and then hopefully if you like what we say, that we can continue having these type of presentations, and hopefully in person, because I know that this is very challenging. So we're going to talk about the orientation of careers and the background abroad, like in the United States and other parts of the world, and especially in Ghana. And we're going to ask you to think about some of these questions for yourself, and then also talk to your peers there. We're also going to be talking about who we are, so Brandon and myself, who we are and our own career path journey, because that might help you understand that we weren't born and then like I decided to become a professor, because that was not that I never thought I would become a professor ever. Then we're going to be moving on to talking about what is a career and what it's not. Then moving forward, talking about career opportunities, especially in the northern region where you live. We're then going to be talking about career considerations, or things to consider when you think about careers. And then we're going to be looking at things that we talk about in terms of needs, wants, skills, and talents. And then any questions that you may have. So we're not going to wait until the end for questions. We're going to hopefully stop throughout this entire program for any questions that you may have. So is everyone clear about what we're going to be doing today? Everyone clear?
Yeah, we are clear. Dr. Trish.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So before you continue, I know this isn't really part of the plan, but yes, I would want us to do like a 5-minute icebreaker, because some people were just coming in, the energy is down. So yes, we'd like to do like a quick icebreaker. And sure, you can join in also.
Okay, well, so, yes, I'll try to join in as long as I don't have to do any major physical exercise. Yes.
Hopefully.
Okay.
All right. So we are standing up, but you can still be on your seat.
Oh, okay. Well, I can stand up too. Brandon, you can stand up. Well, I don't know if we can see you. Oh, goodness.
All right. So we are going to do an activity called Ole. And this will go with our bodies and also with our voices as well. So you repeat after me, and then you do the same action I do. So are you ready? Yeah. My people don't sound ready. Okay. So they said they are ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All the way in Chicago. Right, good. So if I, okay, so you can see me, right. So, ole, good. Ole, ole, ulala. Ole, ulala. Ole, ulala. Ole, please sit down. All right. So hopefully we are ready.
Oh my goodness. That was so wonderful. Sam, do you think it would also be beneficial if we had everyone introduce themselves quickly or not?
Right. So I think we can be able to do that. So everyone can introduce ourselves quickly. And I think this time around we have quite a movable camera, so it could zoom into people's sitting positions without them standing up.
Okay.
So
great.
So so yeah, what's start?
Hello, can you see me?
Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
I'm not doing that.
Meet you.
Hello.
Abbas.
Hello.
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 Hi.
I'm Nag.
Nice to meet you.
I am Muhammad.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Perez.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Khalifa.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm Martina.
Hi.
I'm Mubarak.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm not Abodi.
Hello, I'm Hamdia.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Sam.
Hello. We know you.
Hi, is everybody here?
Hi. Okay. Did we get everyone, Sam?
Adja.
Okay. Hi. Hello. Okay. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. I apologize if I won't remember all of your names. Brandon, maybe you remember all of their names, but please, hopefully we'll get to know you more as we continue with our program. Okay, so did everyone hear what we hope to cover today with this slide? Yes, you can also, give us a thumbs up or nod your head so we can see. Yes, okay. Good? Okay. All right, so before we move on to the actual program, we'd like to acknowledge all of you in Tamale, and also Sam and all the leadership, and Mo for allowing us to be here. Also would like to acknowledge all these individuals here, especially Miss Cindy Joe from International Programs and Services at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, because she is the person who is a big supporter of Dunk and provided us a grant for this program to happen. Also too, Dr. Perth and all of our students here who actually came up with much of the content for the Playmakers Career Development Session #1 in Accra. And then also our home department, International Psychology. Okay, so again, please, we're going to stop at certain points if you have any questions, but we would like to now, I'd like to move it on to my colleague, Brandon, who is going to talk about who he is and how who he is related to his career. Brandon?
Yeah. Dr. Perez, how is everyone today? Nice to meet you all. So my name is Brandon Kerr. I am a student here in the United States. I live in New York City. Have you heard of New York City? Do you know it? Yeah, okay. It's not so great. But so here you have some pictures of me. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Right now I'm studying international psychology, but that wasn't always my plan. So in the top right, you see a picture with my father. He's riding the bicycle. My father is from Jamaica and my mother is from Barbados. And I really, really like this picture because it's the first picture that I remember with my father. In the bottom left hand, you have a picture of me going to school as a small child. And then you see some pictures also of my family in the top middle. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay, cool. But in the bottom right, at the bottom right with the piano, when I was growing up, I wanted to be an R&B singer. Okay. I thought that I could be a singer and a rapper and make music and of course be a millionaire. That was my plan, right? But I think it was more a hobby. It was just something I liked to do. So I changed that. You see my jobs here. I have here some logos. Old Navy, it's a clothing store. Stop and Shop, it's a deli, so a grocery store. Red Robin is a restaurant. And Samaritan Behavioral Health, that is a hospital. I've had many, many different jobs, and it's taken a very, very long time for me to figure out what I want to do. Sometimes I just try everything, and if I like it, I do it. If I don't like it, I try something else, you know? But now, as you see at the bottom, I teach. So I am a teacher. These are my students in this bottom photo. I have also taught, which you can see here. And I also love to do racing. So obstacle course racing over the mountains and through the mud. And it's one of my favorite things to do in my free time. The point being, there are many things that I like doing in my life. And where my life started in trying to choose my work, trying to choose my career, trying to choose my job, it's changed a lot. Depending on the people I meet and the things that I do. One last thing, does everyone see the picture at the top? There's an airplane. Do you know who this is next to the airplane? What was that? Do you know him?
I guess they see the image, but it's not that clear.
Okay, it's okay. That is EL. Do you know EL? I think he's pretty famous in Ghana. Yeah, he's one of my favorite, one of my favorite musicians to listen to these days. very, very popular in some of the classes, the gym classes I go to. It's very good music, but it's an evolution. When I was younger, I liked classical music, reggae, soca, and now I like to listen to Afro beats, R&B. It's a lot of changes. So, Dr. Perez, can you tell us about yourself? What do you tell me about your past?
Thank you, Brandon. Goodness, I think you and I have very similar backgrounds, I would say. So this is who I am, and I'll walk you through some of the pictures. Can you see the slide and hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? Sam, can everyone see the slide and hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so this is a little bit about myself that many of my students probably don't know about me. So I am a professor, as I mentioned to you before, and I've been a professor for over 25 years in child development and psychology. So what I'm going to share with you today is really other things that are not related to me being a professor. So up in the upper right-hand corner is my parents and myself. I'm from the Philippines. And so there I am as a baby. I was born there. And then if you move below that is my family. So I am married. I've been married to a man who's not from the Philippines. He's actually from Armenia. Raise your hand if you know where Armenia is, the country, Armenia. Does everyone know where that is? It's situated where? In the world.
Are you asking a question?
Yes.
Yes, I'm asking a question.
Oh,
Where
okay.
Armenia is. Does anyone know where Armenia is in the world? That's where my husband's family is from.
It should be close to Europe.
It
It's in Europe, but there are sometimes their allies, they align with the European Commission at some point in time. Sometimes they go. I may be wrong.
Okay, actually, it's situated in the Middle East. So it's in the Middle East. It borders Turkey, Iran, Azerbaijan, all of those countries around there. So I've been married for 25 years. I can't believe it. And then we have 3 kids. We have a 22-year-old daughter, an 18-year-old son, and a 13-year-old son. And there's a picture of my family and I'm calling in from Chicago. So this is where we live, in Chicago. So that is a career. Being a parent is a career, a very hard career, I would say. And then if you go all the way to the left, you will see my other careers. Okay, so I used to be a ballet dancer. Who here are dancers? Anyone, any of the Playmakers dancers? Raise your hand if you're a dancer. No dancers?
This is like coming out.
Yeah, here. Yeah, here.
Okay, yay, dancers. Okay, so I used to be a dancer from 5 years old to 17 years old. So that was a career. Then the next picture is me. I was a classically trained concert pianist. So I played the piano. And there I am. I played in a competition with my piano teacher is there next to my dressing room. So I was a concert pianist also from age 5 to 19. And so you can imagine that I love music. Who here loves music? Very much like Brandon. Brandon was as aspiring. Who here loves music? Anything related to music? Anyone? Raise your hand. One person? Only? Okay. All right. So I've been influenced as part of my career by musicians. So on the bottom left is my all-time favorite band named Duran Duran. Who here has heard of Duran Duran? Anyone from the UK? Sam, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Sam?
I don't know if they can still hear us. Sam, can you hear us?
Yeah, you will have to unmute your other laptop. So I can see them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my video for a second. Maybe that might help.
So if you can hear us, your computer's muted, so we can't hear you. And we turned off the computer, so we turned off the screen to give it a little bit more. There we go. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Right here.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Sure.
Hello, can you hear us? Okay, they can't hear us, Brandon. They cannot hear us.
Can you call Sam?
You know what? I'm working with a playmaker who's DMing me. Okay,
Okay.
so hold on. Let me get myself on mute.
Mhm.
Brandon, I think let's just not show our cameras for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Sam. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna turn off our cameras right now. Sorry, so that we maybe we could hear you. We could hear each other better. What do you think? Sam, did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Okay, so you can hear us, but we're going to turn our cameras off because I think that eats up the internet. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so you can see the slides too?
Yes, yes. We can see
Okay.
that.
All right, so I'm just going to move on. I think we'll probably talk about, Brandon and I will talk a little bit more about who we are, and then we're going to hear about who you are too. So this is the first activity, and we're going to spend, or maybe you could just talk to each other who you're sitting next to, some of these questions. So we're going to just brainstorm a little bit for 5 minutes. If you have answers to these questions, okay? So look at who's sitting next to you, and maybe you can talk about what your answers might be. So here are the questions. What is a job? What is a career? Are they the same thing or different? Why or why not? Okay, so can you talk to your friends next to you or anyone? And then I will ask for some answers in like 5 minutes, please. Sam, are you still there? Okay, does anyone have any answers to these questions that you would like to share? There's no right or wrong answer. So let us hear any of your thoughts on these questions, please.
From my teammates, we discussed that a job is something. Okay, so we discussed that a job is something that you do to sustain yourself for a living, and a career is a long-term something achievement. A career is a long-term achievement, and the difference, your job is your career can be your job, but your job can't be your career. Let's say if you are a Google seller and you want to be a teacher, teaching is your career, but selling the cocoa at the meantime is your job. And when you complete your work.
Dr. Tree, do you know cocoa?
Wait, hold on. I can hardly hear. I heard a little bit, but Sam, you said, Dr. Trish, do you know something? What was the something?
You know, Coco.
No, sorry. But tell me, maybe I do know it, but I don't know the word, please.
Yeah, I think it's porridge.
Local porridge.
Yes. Yeah.
It's what?
Corn. It's a porridge made from corn. And
Oh,
you
yes,
usually drink-
it's made from corn, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, yes.
So I was saying that your job can be your career can be your job, but your job can't be your career.
Oh, yes,
So if you are selling cocoa,
yes,
if you are selling porridge, sorry, the porridge is your job. But if you want to be a teacher, the teaching is your career. And when you complete that course and become your teacher, you've achieved your aim as a teacher. And doing the teaching, practicing the teaching is a job as well. So your career has to be your job. But it's a job there, it can't be your career. If you are just doing it to sustain yourself.
yes, good. Perfect. Thank you. Madase. What, did someone else want to add? Hello?
We set a job as something to do in for that period of time. But with the career, it's something that you have a passion for. It's something you want to invest a lot of time. You build
Yes.
yourself throughout. You are involved in it. It takes a lot of energy from you. What the job, like the energy the job takes from you. You don't put your all in a job, but put your all in the career.
Yes. Good. Okay, so what I've heard so far, and Brandon, you can help me too. What I've heard so far is that there is a difference between a job and a career. And that a job is something that you have to sustain yourself, and a career is something that takes a long time, and that maybe is a passion. Did you hear what I said?
So can you repeat what you said again?
Okay, so what I heard, thank you for sharing, that a job is something to sustain yourself, and that it's you're building skills, and a career takes a long time and could be made of a lot of jobs maybe, and that it could be your passion. Is that correct? And it's different. A job and a career is different. Yes? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, is that what I said accurate?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Brandon, do you have anything else to add?
No, I mean, I thought that the way that they described it was perfect.
Yes.
The difference between a job and career. So that's great.
Okay, so we're moving on to what is a career and what it is not. Okay, so I think many of you already brought this up. Oops. So a job is usually paid unless it's a volunteer position. A career is paid and also is not paid. So there are things that I do, Brandon knows this, that I do things for free to build my career, to build what I want to do. Next is a job builds skills that is related or not related to each other. But a career, you're building skills that could be related to each other. Okay, everyone following? Yes? No? Can you hear?
That's right here.
Okay, good. A job can come from different industries. So you heard both Brandon and I, like I was a performer. Performing on stage is not the same thing as being a professor. Brandon, who wanted to be a hip hop R&B artist, is not the same as being a student in international psychology. A career then is related. Again, like building skills, they're related industries. For a job, depending on what the job is, you might need a degree, you may not need a degree, you might have to have some academics like finishing high school. For a career, many careers, not all careers, need a degree. For some, like Brandon and myself, we need to get graduate degrees for what we want to do. For a job, there is on-site training or no training. Like you might be offered a job and you learn on the spot in the job. For a career, especially if it's something that you continue to develop over time, there's lots and lots of training involved. A job, sometimes a job could be a one job that leads to like many years. So that could be one job, that could be for 20 years, and that could be a career. For some of us, like Brennan and myself, who did not walk the straight path, it's many jobs that become a career. For a job, sometimes we have a job, like when I was your age, my very first job was working at Walmart. Who here has heard of the company Walmart? They sell food and they sell clothes and lots of stuff. Have you heard of that company, Walmart? Yes?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me talking, Sam, and everyone there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I asked if anyone has heard of the company Walmart. Have they heard of it? Yes.
As we
Okay.
said,
Okay. So that I took that job on when I was 18 years old because my parents told me, you need to make money. So I took that job as somebody who worked as a cashier. So sometimes a job, we don't have a choice. Sometimes we do have a choice, but a career, in the best case scenario, I think somebody said this because it's your passion. You have a choice to build a career, or you have the competency and skills for that career. Does anyone have questions right now before we move forward?
the questions so far.
What did you say, Sam?
No, not one for now.
Not one for now. Okay. So very quickly, we did research. Brandon and I and our team, our student team, did research on careers and jobs in Ghana as of 2021. The ones that are highlighted are the growth areas based on your economy as a middle income country. So you can see by 2025 and then 2035, these are roughly the job creations for these industries. So you can see education, there is growth there as compared to the other industries based on your economy. You could also see agriculture actually, and farming is like the highest, like the most needed career paths. And then construction work is the other one. Here are some other things here. Within the United States, health and anything related to health is very, very important. Is very important in healthcare. Education will also remain, and information technology is huge here in the United States with a lot of growth. Does anyone have questions about this and the projection of Ghana and careers? Is this surprising to you? Is this not surprising to you? Any questions? Sam, is there any questions or comments?
Okay, so you said you did some research. Is this a prediction or like some sort of source where you have this information?
Yes. Yeah, so our references are in the bottom of the PowerPoint slide. And again, these are references that we get here that's available to us within the United States. And yes. So this is a projection of job growth and potential career paths, because it's similar and different from the United States.
Right. So just a quick one on that. So are you saying that these are career path or
Correct.
jobs
And jobs? Yes. Yes.
application?
Yes.
These are number of jobs confined in education, number of jobs confined in all the other sectors of the economy, right?
Yes, so that these are the job growth, which leads to careers with the titles, right? So if you can't get a job, say, for example, like here in the United States, if there's a job that nobody wants you to have because we don't, it's not a growth area, then you can't really build a career out of it. So in Ghana, these are the three main areas or industries that there is growth, not only in a job within the industry, it's a career path because there's going to be lots of jobs.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is there any other questions or comments or wondering about this?
I think many people are still reflecting. So
Yes, I
Yes.
think that important. We know that in Ghana, or we often say that agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and then from the projection regarding the jobs and careers, it only points or further highlights the importance of agri to the development of our country. Because
Yes.
look at the projection.
Yes. So this is,
It's
yeah,
a very
so-
wide.
so this slide just shows you the job and career path projections, but we will continue to talk about other things with what you just said. So I'm going to move it now to then career opportunities. Brandon will be reviewing this for us.
All right. So, can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. So there are a few things that you want to consider when you're looking for a career to start with, or if you want to go through a career change. And one of the immediate questions would be, what would I enjoy doing? And that question, it might sound simple, but career coaches find that in order for us to be happy or feel happy at work, that our career has to have a couple of things. We have to have freedom. We have to have a challenge. There has to be balance, and there has to be no stress, because those things are going to be very bad for a job. So when we're talking about freedom, we're talking about how much choice do we have, and what do I want to do, and how do I want to do my job? This is autonomy over the nature of my work versus is it important? If we're talking about a challenge, if we don't have a lot of challenge, this leads to us being bored, and it can become dull. Too much of a challenge, and of course that gets a bit stressful, but the right amount of challenge combined with a sense of competence, meaning that you feel comfortable in what you're doing, you feel confident also in what you're doing, and you're able to do that thing, it allows you to perform at your best. If I'm talking about balance, sometimes we feel like there are never enough hours in the day, and that we're spending too much time or spending much of our time working. And we need time to think and reflect about our own selves, about our own well-being. Now, stress. I think we all know what stress is. And some stress helps us perform well. But pressure and overwhelming stress, that's something that's negative. That's something that we don't want. So we know that high stress levels on an ongoing basis can bring us anxiety or burnout. Do you guys know what burnout is? Have you heard that before, burnout?
Burnout.
Mm-hmm. So burnout, you can't work anymore. You're just tired. Your brain is done because you've been working too much. And it starts to make it difficult for you to do your work, even things that would normally come easily, okay? So when we have a lot of stress, that can bring us to burnout, all right? Another thing that we want to think about, so what am I qualified to do? So when we talk about qualification, it can come in many forms. Did I go to school for the career that I want? Did I learn a particular craft or trade outside of school, or maybe I taught myself. And there are so many careers out there, and each of them have their own particular required qualifications. I might want to also consider what my achievement, or rather my advancement, looks like. What's the next step? Is this a career with a promotion? Or perhaps maybe I would want to continue learning so that I can transition to another role. Or maybe I just want to stay right where I am. It's up to us and our families to decide just where we'd like to take our careers. Tell me something. In looking at this, let's say, for example, the last question, what opportunities do I have for advancement? When you're thinking about a job or when you think about a career, how many of you think about advancement? Meaning, how can I get a promotion or what happens next? Do you think about what happens next or do you think about what's happening now? Anyone?
I believe it's a question for.
Sure, absolutely. When we are thinking about a job or we think about a career, are you thinking about the future, the advancement, meaning, maybe right now I work as an associate, but maybe one day I want to be a manager or a supervisor. Do we think about that, or do we only focus on now, the job we are doing now? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Someone is about to speak.
Well, it depends.
It depends. Okay.
Yes, the economic situation of Ghana will let one think about now. Sometimes I'm not really thinking about advancement.
Uh-huh.
One can also think about advancement whether to go along the ladder of evolution of
That makes sense. I was able to hear most of that. So you said that right now, most of the time they want you to focus on now and not what's happening later, yes? Did I understand that correctly? Yep. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood. Sometimes it's difficult to hear you, but yes, absolutely. And it's really your decision on which one is more important, whether you want to focus on what's happening now or whether you want to think about that ladder, what the next step is or what the last step is, and also becoming better. So again, continuing education, that's learning new things so that you can advance. All right. Dr. Perez, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you did a great job. Should I move on to the next slide?
Yeah, that's okay. Should I still keep the camera off, or do you think we should try with the camera on? Or
You could try. I'm going to keep my camera off because I don't want to lose everyone again.
Right. It just feels strange that you can't see me. I'm sitting here talking and smiling, and I realize they can't see my face. Sam, if you can't hear me, please let me know, and I'll turn my camera back off. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So there are a lot of different careers out there. Of course, we know there are many different industries out there. The industry that I want to talk about right now is agriculture. So what do you guys think of when you hear this word agriculture? What do you think? What comes to your mind? Okay. And that's usually, I'm going to turn this off. Give it a second. Dr. Perez, can you still see and hear them?
Yeah, I can see. I think I heard something.
Okay, it looks like it's back. But yes, farming. That's usually what comes to mind when people think about agriculture. But there's so much more. Sam, can you hear me? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. There's so much more than that. So the first thing when we talk about agriculture, let's think about the benefits of a career in agriculture. The first thing would be you'll make a difference. There are over 31 million people in Ghana that need to put food on the table. Over 31 million people need to eat, right? And over the next 35 years, the world population is going to increase by about 9 billion. Okay. That means that agriculture or being able to produce is really important because we have to produce for more people. There's definitely a growing threat of climate change that we want to think about. So we need major changes to be able to provide for the people who are coming. Another thing is a shortage in the job force. People aren't taking up the mantle. People aren't going into agriculture, meaning that there are a lot of job opportunities there, a lot of opportunity to come into the field and really be able to help. Agriculture is everywhere. It's not only limited to rural areas, all right? And many job seekers assume that when you have a career in agriculture, it's farming or crops and animals. That's the first thing that we think about with agriculture, farming. However, there are many job opportunities that you don't have to get your hands dirty. For example, manufacturers, suppliers, and other agricultural companies that are in the city. Plus, you can seek work outside of Ghana. Careers in agriculture are available everywhere, and they're in great demand. Also, it's a growing industry. So the agriculture industry, it's growing at a really, really fast pace as there's a demand for candidates. The job market is booming, which means that you have a lot of opportunities to take on some of these jobs. Technology, I think all of you know technology. You have phones, you have social media, you have all these wonderful things that we didn't have before. And that's even on farms and fields. And with advancements in technology, these things are continuously evolving to improve productivity. And we need, or rather the world needs, more technology savvy candidates like you. Now, does everyone see where it says the next generation of agricultural professionals? What do you think this means? The next generation of agricultural professionals? Anyone?
Anyone have an idea? Okay, so the question is that, and Brandon, I'd like to repeat.
Yeah.
Mean that, what does it mean when we say the next generation of agricultural professionals, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah. You said, can I tell you?
He said, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Uh-huh.
Yes, so what happens is that as we are talking of by 2050, we are going to have over 9 billion population in the world, which means that we are moving into smart agriculture. Now, where we are going to have people devote themselves into tissue culturing, where they employ technology into agriculture to produce thousands of plantlets within just pest tubes, and also to maximize profits and productivity. By doing that, we are also going to ensure we enhance specific nutrients in the plants, and also ensure that plants can resist the weeds on our soils, as well as able to utilize small amounts of water to produce the number of crops that we need in a particular land size. Because research shows that right now, every year, our soils keep depleting, so we need to use smart agriculture. Quite apart from that, we're going to have a series of banking sectors focusing more into agriculture, where agribusiness will set in, and many people would invest in the food, because currently it's difficult to give farmers loans. So in the next future, we are seeing people setting up businesses and giving investment support to farmers to actually come out with produce where they can also have shares into those businesses.
Beautiful, beautiful. I could not have said it any better. And I'm glad that you talked about some of the advancements that are happening in agriculture, especially when it comes to seeding and farming. If you see on the right side, as everyone see that flyer where it says cost benefit analysis, agricultural growth in Ghana. This is from Copenhagen, which is in Denmark. And, oh, you good, Sam?
Yeah, good.
Okay, cool. The world is taking a lot of attention in Ghana and the resources you have and the advancements that are possible in agriculture. And one thing that they talk about is the advancements of seeding, using these newer technologies, using this new knowledge that we have in order to increase the yield that we have from planting, from production, if that makes sense. I am so glad that you are able to verbalize that and consider that, because it is important. Because a lot of our parents, a lot of those from the older generations, they're not thinking about this. They use more traditional ways of agriculture, more traditional ways of farming. And it's up to you, and when I say you, I mean all of you, this newer generation, to be able to evolve agriculture, to not only make it easier, but to make it more productive, and to be able to produce a lot more. Well, I guess that's the same thing, to be able to produce a lot more. Now, with this comes, of course, a competitive salary. And I think that's important for a lot of people. We all know salary, right? This is the money that you're making throughout the year for the job that you do. In agriculture, the salaries are going up. The salaries are getting much, much higher, making it a lot easier to support our families, to support ourselves, and then potentially go into fields and careers that we truly, truly enjoy, that we want to build on, all right? The work environment is mostly positive, very positive, and there's a lot of job security. When we talk about job security, it means agriculture isn't going anywhere, all right? There's a constant demand for qualified candidates across many areas of the industry, and you can feel secure in knowing that you'll always be able to find your next opportunity. Now, with those opportunities, there are a wide range. There are so many opportunities in agriculture. And I know the first thing that comes to mind, can you hear me? What happened? We're good?
Good, but the connection wasn't stable. So can you repeat what you said?
Oh, absolutely. I was talking about the opportunities that we have a wide range of opportunities. When we started this talk, I asked you all, what do we think about when we think of agriculture? And we said farming, right? So Dr. Perez, I'm going to bring you to the next slide, just because I want us to think about other forms or other ways that we can work in agriculture. So the first question I want you to think about is, what benefits might there be for working in agriculture? What's a benefit? And the second question is, what kind of careers are there in agriculture? Farming is one of them, but there are many, many, many careers. So I want you to take a few minutes to talk with each other and think about this. What are the benefits that there might be in working in agriculture? and what kind of careers are there in agriculture, okay? Take a few minutes to talk. You can talk in groups if you'd like, and then we'll come back to this. So what are we thinking? Any thoughts? I can't hear. If somebody's talking, I can't hear yet. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So someone wants to share.
Absolutely.
My debt for working. So there will be increase in production and okay, there will be increase in production and that's the whole thing that people will secure.
Sam, I'm sorry, Sam, can you repeat that for me? I couldn't hear it clearly.
The kind of careers.
Don't use the mic. Let's see. Yes.
So with the benefits, it's agriculture.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear?
I can hear now. She said the benefits of agriculture. I couldn't hear what she said the benefits were, though.
Okay. She's about to.
So with the benefits, with agriculture, it will have increased in production. And with that, there will be available and people will be secure. So people will be nutritional stable.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else?
I have no. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
About the career.
Yeah.
Careers I talked of textiles industries. Yes.
Textile industry.
And with parts, the raw materials can also help us as far as it helps us in the production of timber and can give us advancement in building infrastructure.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then we can talk about the areas of making our standards, the areas of maybe the well-being of human when we talk of fashion, all can come from such angle. And they are all areas that can lead one to the very destination of intentions.
Beautiful. I hadn't thought about that last one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Perez, you can go to the next slide. Is there anyone else that wants to mention anything a career that they can think of in agriculture? What sorts of careers there are?
Okay, so someone was going to talk about the benefits.
Oh, please, please.
And also provide employment.
Sam, could you repeat the last of that? I missed that. Mm-hmm.
So I said it is the main source of raw material. And it's important to international trade and provide employment to the youth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in Ghana, you have a lot of resources for that raw material. It is an excellent form of export. You're absolutely right. And I love that you're thinking about this globally. Real quick, if we think about careers, I'm going to split them into 4 categories, okay? There's management and business, there's science and engineering, education, communication, governmental services, and then food and biomaterials production. Now, these 4 categories, if we think about management and business, it's not surprising that nearly half of the openings that we have are management and business. You have sales and service representatives. You have forest products processing managers. We were talking about timber production, farm labor specialists, forest ecosystem managers, e-commerce specialists, financial analysts, agricultural economists, so many different fields in management and business. If I talk about science and engineering, you have food scientists, veterinarians, biological engineers, environmental scientists, insect biologists, and the list goes on. If we think about education, communication, and the government, some of the fields that I might think of would be organic, like organic crops growers. Hold on one moment. I think I lost you for a second. Okay, there you are. I might think about a high school agri-science teacher. I might think about agricultural and natural resource communications, farm services agents. I might think about natural resource conservation specialists, and the list goes on. Lastly, when we think about science, or rather food and biomaterials production, this is fruit and vegetable grower, forest managers, precision agricultural specialists, range managers. The point being, there is so much more to agriculture than just farming, okay? We are talking about government, we're talking about science, we're talking about management. There are so many options that are there for you, all right? Dr. Perez, I'll let you take it from here as we move forward.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I also wanted to add with the
Yeah.
conversation that if you, and I'm sure there are places in Ghana potentially that you can study this for a degree, but even here in the international psychology department on a master's level, we do have international psychology with environmental issues as a concentration. So as we continue to grow and everybody is interested in things like the environment, how we can live off the land, growing things, being able to then move products forward in agriculture. This isn't just a Ghanaian perspective. This is also a global phenomenon. So I just want to add that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to now move on to considerations or things to consider whether you think about agriculture, farming, things that people do in the northern region or globally. Okay, so here are the things to consider, and we can definitely have a conversation about this. Okay, so I want everyone to think about these areas. Okay, basic needs. So does anyone have a thought of what I mean by basic needs when we think about a career? That's a question I'm asking everyone.
We understand the question. Okay, so basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter.
Yes, right. Food, clothing, and shelter, because I mean, I will talk from my perspective, but you probably will agree that if I don't have for my family food, shelter, and clothing and money to sustain myself and my family, then all the other things don't really matter. Like I can dream a whole bunch of things, but I need to be able to put food on the table. I have to be able to provide for my family. My husband needs to think about that too. And again, all of these will change depending on where you are. So someone at your age or like my age or Brandon's age, we have different ideas of what those basic needs are. The other thing too is costs, like how much will things cost? Like, have you thought about how much will it cost to go to college? Have you thought of that? To get a degree? Who here wants to go to college? Or maybe some of you are in college already. Have you thought about the costs of college? Yeah, isn't that fun to think about how much all this costs? Yes, we've all thought about money, right? Yes. Okay, so here's an example. Let's just say you think you want to go to college in the United States and you get a free scholarship to go to a college in the United States. Well, that scholarship actually does not include where you're going to live and how you're going to eat. That's basic needs again. Have you thought of that? I hear some talking. What are you saying? What
I'm not concerned about how can survive whilst having on vacation out there. But we don't have any money.
Okay, so I might can survive. Yeah, I have a friend like that. The scholarship was for only the fees and the institution. So when she went there, I don't know whether that place there are jobs there. So she got one. So she was taking care of herself from that. So if we also get such an opportunity, I think we can survive. Because surviving in that is something else.
Okay. Okay, something was very funny, and Sam, I couldn't hear any of it. I couldn't understand what was said, but I think everyone was thinking it was funny or maybe agreed.
Okay, so for her, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you, Sam.
Okay, so for her, she said that she knows a friend who got same opportunity, a scholarship for her tuition to be paid, but
Yes,
she had to, for accommodation and food and other basic needs, she had to fend for herself.
right.
So, and she didn't have anything. So she actually took that scholarship, traveled. And fortunately for her, where she got to, she had access to jobs. So she was working and
Yes,
still going to school, and he managed to be successful. And so for her, she said she can also take that step. And she believes, oh, okay, okay. And she believes once she's in Ghana, she can survive anywhere.
okay, good. Good, you can survive anywhere.
So some people have some different thoughts. So
Okay, let's hear.
It's possible, but from the beginning, it's going to be very good. Because outside there is not just like Ghana, where you can go and sleep by someone's shop. From what we are hearing down here, you can't just go and sleep on the road. They'll ask
No.
you for some.
No,
So,
so for her, she's not taking this opportunity.
right, yes,
At their place for some time, they will raise money to buy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for her, she said if there is an alternative accommodation there for her where she wouldn't want to spend their money on, then she will take up this scholarship, but not when
Yes.
there's no guarantee for accommodation for her.
yes,
And safety.
yes, yes. And so, I mean, there's much more to talk about this, but I must say, I want to say this, that a lot of people think that coming to America, like money grows on trees and everything is like, everyone maybe is rich and we have all of these things. Well,
No.
yeah, unlike the movies, we have much higher costs than in Ghana for things like college, jobs, like even things like if you have a management position, maybe if you get the management position and you have a good salary and like benefits, you also have to play the part, meaning you have to wear certain clothes, you have to eat in certain places, you have to keep up an image. And so you have to think about what those costs are. So lots to think about, even if you can survive. For many people, unless you are all rich, I'm not rich, so I had to work through my college to be able to afford things that many of you were talking about, or you have a family member or you have a sponsor to help you with some of these costs.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so moving on to skills, thinking about what skills do you have, like up to this date, like right now, where you are in your life, what things are you good at? Like what training have you had? All of those skills can be translated to another industry. So for example, I've been in music and dance, okay, or performing. So all of those skills, which are all arts, is related to psychology because the field of psychology is an art and a science. So skills you can build on, whether it is informal skills that you've learned from your parents or your family, or skills that you actually have to go to school for. Any questions on this one? Sam, any questions for skills or comments?
They said they are good.
Okay, so next is culture. And I'm not, I am not from Ghana, but I visited Ghana 7 times, pretty much in Cape Coast and across. So I have a little bit of understanding, but I'm not just talking about culture. I'm also talking about, like, if you join a company or a different industry, that's a different culture. What I find from students who come, for example, from Ghana and come to Chicago, that they have a culture shock. Why do you think they have a culture shock when they study here in Chicago? What do you think? What do you think could be the reasons for them having a culture shock? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Environment is different. The weather.
Yes. Yes, the weather. I heard something else. The weather. Yes, it's very cold here. Very, very cold. Okay. Yes. What other thing? What other part of the culture do you think? You said something else, please.
The dressing.
Oh, yes. Clothes. Yes. Religion. Gender, how you look. Friends. Yes. So all of that you want to take into consideration if you might even get homesick, right? You might miss your family and then it's far away. Okay. And then lastly is networks. You can start now listing all the people you know. Okay, family members, people you know, like you now know myself and you now know Brandon. Okay. Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, so was there a question about networks? Because I heard someone. Okay, so I'm going to move forward. So you know me and you know Brandon. So think about who you know, because they might be able to help guide you in your careers. Okay, so lastly, and again, I know this is a lot of information and I don't know how it is over there in Ghana. I know that it's probably better if we were there in person. So thank you so much for your patience. So we're going to move on now to thinking about your needs, wants, skills, and talents. And again, this is being recorded. I will share it with Sam and you can continue if you can look at some of these. And he also has the PowerPoint slides. Okay, so very quickly, you can think about this for yourself, but Brandon and I will show you what we're meaning with our own self, because we are not you. So what are our needs? Okay, so if I'm thinking about myself, my needs are I need to put food on the table and I need to provide for my family along with my husband. Okay, so there's a picture there of my children, which we need to provide for. What are my wants? Okay, they're not needs, they're wants. I want to travel, but I can't travel right now because the world is still in a pandemic and we have to make sure that we're all safe. Our health comes first. So that's a picture of towers in Kuwait, and I've been to Kuwait before. Skills, what are my skills? Apparently, I don't know what Brandon thinks, but apparently people tell me and students tell me that I'm a good teacher, that I mentor students well, I'm a good mentor, and that I'm also a good guide. And my colleagues, other faculty members say that I'm good at this. And then my talents are things that I don't necessarily have to go to school for. I was pretty much born, I was telling Brandon this, I was pretty much born questioning everything. And so part of my talents that I have is that I like to hear answers and I like to question things and I like to fight for people who don't have a voice. So here in the United States, I don't know if you've heard, but here in the United States, there are a lot of groups like Asians, like myself. There's a lot of people who don't like Asians. Not everybody, but don't like Asians. And so this is a sign in New York, actually, where my daughter goes to school, of a gathering of talking about stopping Asian hate. Okay, did everyone hear, was everyone able to hear all of that? Because I'm now going to move it on to Brandon, and then we're going to open it up to questions or comments. Yes? Good?
Cool. So for mine, here are my needs, wants, skills, and talents. So that is a picture of my brother, my younger brother. I have two brothers. And for me, a need is my family. They have been very supportive in all of the things that I do. And I think I have the kind of personality where I need someone there. Someone has to be there. I can be alone, it's okay. But knowing that my family is there for me, that's very important for me. My wants, travel. As Dr. Perez said, I miss traveling. It's really important for me. I wanted to be in Ghana. Actually, last December, I was supposed to come to Ghana and I couldn't. And that makes me very, very sad. I don't like to be in one place, but it's okay. Then skills. I love to exercise. I love to teach. Anything that can help someone. Oops, I think I lost the connection for a moment. Hold on. Dr. Perez, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Sam, you can still hear me? Okay. So skills, I would say teaching. So I teach fitness. I teach in school. Anything that I can do to teach, I think I'm pretty good at. And talents, music. I think that I'm naturally talented in music. I love to play many different instruments, and I try to use that to make other people happy. So I hope this explains a little bit about me and my needs, wants, skills, and talents. And then here we just have some references. When you go back to look at these slides, if you wanted more information, they would be here, where you can find the information that we got for today's presentation. And we thank all of you. Thank you guys so much. I was very, very excited to meet you all. And I hope that you had a good time here. I'm sorry the connection is not as good as it could be. I prefer to be on camera, but we do what we have to do.
Yes.
Did you guys have any questions for us?
This is our contact information. Thank you, Brandon,
Yep.
for us. And I'm sure Sam will be able to say so in the remaining time that we have, because we're finished. We'd like to just open it up for any questions as we finish, and I think also as you take a break. So we just wanted to show our cameras again. Again, this was an overview. There's so much more to talk about with this topic, and there's even something called career counseling, which I do as well. So please, do you have any questions? I know this has been a long time here, but does anyone have any questions or comments as we end?
Okay, so Dr. Patricia, can you hear me?
Are you talking to me, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you a little bit, yes.
Okay, so I'm Huzaima, and I've actually learned a great deal of idealism from the beginning of your presentation to now. And the question I just have is from students like us who are in the universities pursuing the undergraduate courses, like how advisable is it is to diverge from, let's say, from BSc to MA, like Master of Arts, like situations like that. How advisable are they? Because some of us were forced into the courses we are currently pursuing, and in future actually wish to move to other fields where we think the specialty we get in these fields will benefit us in the long run. So what advice do you have to people like me who have such thoughts? Thank you.
Okay, so I could hear only a little bit. Brandon, did you get the gist of what his question is?
Did you say you were forced to go to school?
What?
The course I'm pursuing, like I was.
Oh,
forced into it.
what's the, okay, let me hear what the course you're pursuing that you were forced into. Let me hear.
Okay, and BSc Community Nutrition.
Community education,
Nutrition.
nutrition. Okay, and so, sorry, Brandon, did you get what the question is?
And he said, what advice
Okay,
do we have? Uh-huh. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
Please.
Okay, so when I'm to pursue a graduate course, I would like to divert from the BSc to MA, like Master of Arts in a different course. So I don't know how advisable
okay,
is that.
okay. So I don't know what the Ghana college system is, but in the United States, if you have like say, for example, you continue with your studies in nutrition, right? Is that right? Nutrition?
Yes.
Okay, you continue your 3 to 4 years and get a bachelor's degree. You can change to a master's, right? You can change to a master's. However, you're going to have to find a master's program for a Master of Arts that will take your credentials. But many people, so here's an example. Okay, many people, like, for example, I can have a bachelor's in psychology. That's what I got my undergraduate degree in, and I can go to law school. Okay, so that's a totally different, that master's or law school is very different. So yes, you can do that. You can change on a master's level, but you have to find a school that fits all the things that you're considering, right? Like basic needs, costs, your skills, and the fit. So that is a whole bunch of research. So if I think you could talk to Sam, but maybe that becomes a whole nother presentation, hopefully in person. But yes, to answer your question, you can go from nutrition and then move to a Master of Arts of something else. Yes, you can.
I think that from my experience, again, I don't know if the system is different in Ghana. If you do a bachelor's degree and you want to change your topic to something else for your master's degree, maybe depending on the school you want to go to, they might have you take an exam for that topic. So you at least have some knowledge about that topic, and then it will be fine. I have many friends who went to school for a different bachelor's, and then they took a graduate, graduate review exam, so that they can do a different topic for their master's. But again, as Dr. Perez says, it depends on the school and their requirement. Mm-hmm. But the short answer is it's possible.
Yes.
It's not every situation is different, but it's not so difficult, I think, from a bachelor's to a master's to change the topic. If it's after your master's, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to change.
Yes.
But from a bachelor's, it should be pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, here's another, sorry, this gets complicated, right? Or say you want to go from nutrition to like a master's in performing arts. Now, if you don't know how to sing, you don't know how to dance, you don't know how to do any of those things, then you probably will not get in. Does that make sense? Because you don't have the skills and competencies, because many of these people on a master's level who sing, dance, and act have been doing this since they were like 3 years old.
Yeah. But I will say this one last thing, okay? If you already have a bachelor's in community nutrition and you want to change to a different field, so you want to get a master's in art, you should probably still use your bachelor's in community nutrition for work and for money while you do your master's in art because you still have that degree. You don't want to waste it. You should still use it for something. So it's like that ladder we talked about when you're advancing. Use what you have now to help you get what you want later. Yeah.
That's a good point. Your
Mhm.
skills that you've built, you don't want to waste your degree. Goodness. Don't waste your degree,
Too much
even if
money.
even if you were forced into it, you don't want to waste your degree.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we won't tell anyone about you being forced.
But you know, that's funny. That's funny. My father, when I was in high school, I was 17 years old. And my father, he said, you must go to school. If you don't go to school, you must go to the army. And I'm not a fighter. I'm a
You're
lover.
not?
No.
Oh, God, here we
No, no,
go.
no, 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 no. Why? I don't want to. Why
Okay.
should I fight? No, no, no. So my father, he said, you have to go. You must go to school. But he let me pick the topic. And then I decided to change. When I started school, I went to school for performing, for playing piano and singing.
Me too.
And yeah, and then I changed it to psychology later.
So
So
did I. See?
yeah.
Great question. Good
Yeah.
question.
Any other questions?
Sam, is there any other like one or two quick questions? Because I almost feel like the next time we do this, or if we, okay,
Yeah, that's another
Hello.
addition.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just have an addition to the first question. Now, the United States and that of Ghana, there are different educational systems.
Yep.
However, on where you want to go, if it's a private sector, it's not that much a problem. But currently, the way the system is designed, if it's public sector, and more important, if you want to go to academia and you do the skirt and top, by government requirement, you are not supposed to be picked. Assuming you did agriculture, and then you change from agriculture to development communication, your master's, you come to be taken as maybe an assistant research something in that field. If it's a public university, they won't pick you. But then if it's a private sector, it has no problem. But again, with the public sector, what you can also do is that if the organization that is going to employ you already has a track record of your work experience in that particular field, that means that you have proven that even though you have skirt and blouse, but then you have a track record of doing significant work in that field. Let's say if you're a researcher and you have several publications in that particular field, then they may consider you for that. But now what government has in is difficult for you. Unless you just out of passion, I want to move out of it, then you are ready to face the consequence.
Yes, thank you for that addition. And then making big decisions on whether or not you want to stay in Ghana or go abroad. Because again, we don't want you're all young, you're all very bright and smart. We don't want to kill your dreams. Okay, so what we presented are things that are very realistic, right? Because both Brandon and myself went through this entire questioning about what can I do? What are my skills? What are the costs? And to be perfectly honest, it's quite a bit of research, and then gathering a support system for yourself, people who will support you in many ways, like emotionally, physically, cognitively, all of that. And so hopefully, you know that Brandon and I are here to support you too, if you ever want to talk to us about any of this.
Can I ask a question? So when you talk about the public sector and the private sector, are we talking about public schools and private schools and their decision to admit people for for different topics?
basically, what I'm talking is the employment industry. So the organization that you want to be employed.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
for the school that you are applying for, perhaps. Okay, so if you are doing, let's say, agriculture from the university, and you want to do a different course in that, mostly from MPhil or ME, basically they all have their background, their recommendation that you can. But sometimes, too, in Ghana, it doesn't work that much. If you do education and want to divert to a different field, mostly they pick you, even though their recommendations is there that you need to have this. But sometimes, because of the enrollment, if you don't get number of good graduate students, then the money issue. So most they have that recommendation, but they pick people from different fields.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
So it sounds like a very different criteria here in the United States. Everyone can go to school. Some of the criteria, some of the things you're talking about doesn't work. We don't have the same rules here. We don't have the same. For international students, it's about cost. It's about being able to afford coming here. So yeah, I mean those are the differences between your educational system and our educational system. For us, it's at every level of academics, grades, courses. Most everybody can go to school. Everybody can go to college, but it's the cost. That's the barrier.
Yeah. I would say if that becomes an issue, because you said unless you're out of passion, you decide, no, this is not what I want to do. I want to change something. If you have to follow, if you have a certain topic that you're following, okay, so let's say you went to school for engineering and you don't want to be an engineer anymore. I guess one other option that you have, aside from leaving Ghana, would be to stay and study in a program, an online program, a virtual program, so that you could get the other qualifications. And then you would have the qualifications you need to go into the new job. Does that make sense? Because if you can't just change the university in Ghana and change the topic that you want, then maybe finding a university, and Dr. Perez, forgive me if I'm overstepping here, maybe going to a university that's not in Ghana, even if it's virtually. So you would stay in Ghana. It's a lot less expensive too, less money, but stay in Ghana and study online to get these credentials, to get these qualifications, and then you would be able to use them. That's one idea that comes to my head. I don't know how feasible it is in Ghana, but I know that it is an option to be able to change the route of working that you want to do.
Yes, I mean, I think that's another route. So unfortunately, we're going to have to end soon, but I guess what I want to say, Sam, and to everybody, is that there are possibilities. Okay, so don't say things can't happen, or like, no, I can't do this, or because more times than not, this is what I mean by networking, like your networks. More times than not, there are people out there who know a lot of things that can help you get to your destination. Okay, so you might not even have to go to college. You may not even have to get a master's degree, depending on what you want to do. Okay, I know that a lot of young people want to go to college because that is related to your earning potential and all of these type of things. But based on what your goals are, what you want to do, sometimes going to college isn't actually something that you really need to do. And I'm a college professor. So I'm just being very, very, very honest and realistic that you also need to talk with your friends and family and really assess your skills and what your talents are to be able to think about what that career will look like. And again, it will change depending on your life. So, I hope that we can continue this conversation. I'm hoping that it could be in person someday. but this was just sort of the start of the conversation. So we want to thank you so much for listening. I know it's probably very hard to listen to us in this way, through a screen, through hearing us, internet. And so thank you so much for being patient with us. Sam, do you have anything to say as we end, unfortunately?
Yeah, yeah, I think that this could be a beginning of a series of career development sessions we have. And I think that once we have a more stable traveling environment around the world,
Yes.
and you and decides to come together, we can try and arrange sessions with some of the people here so we can also come in person.
Yes. Yes. And Brandon will have to come with me, because I mean, it's so hard not to be there. I mean, it's just so hard. Your country is so beautiful. Everyone is just so welcoming. I just love it. I consider Ghana another home for me, because everyone is just so kind.
Right. And then also lastly, I was a bit disappointed because I thought EL was your favorite musician from Ghana.
Oh, my favorite. Yes, my favorite musician. Well, boys from Ghana is R2Bs. That's my favorite. R2Bs is my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know. Does everyone there know who R2Bs is? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're not popular anymore.
They know.
They don't?
They know.
They know.
Yeah,
Oh,
they know.
Okay. They know. Yes, I love them. They are so great. I love their music. Mhm. Yes. So.
Okay, so they have something to say. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So everybody is confident. Let's go.
Hello. Someone said hello, I
I
think.
did hear hello. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, would like to thank you very much for the opportunity. I think we've really learned a lot. And then from today, I think we'll put that into practice. We've got enough exposure. And so we really thank you very much. We are really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, please say
No, it's
that.
fine. I'm here. Tell them we shall see you in Chicago soon.
So we hope to see you very soon in Chicago, right?
Really? You're coming? You're coming to Chicago? Really? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to open my home to all of you. Because that's my culture. You all have to come stay. So.
All right, so thank you very much, Dr. Patricia and your team and Brandon. We are really grateful, and we'll talk more.
Definitely.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Take care.